Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jessica and I am a woman in long-term recovery. I'm a certified Narcan trainer and I'm also a peer recovery specialist. And here on my channel, I make videos and talk about being in recovery, and I tell stories, and I also talk about when I was in active addiction, and I talk about being in addiction, things like that, and anything in between. I also talk about mental health issues because I suffer with mental health issues. I have major depressive disorder. I suffer from anxiety, a lot of things like that. So if you're new here, that kind of gives you a gist of what you gotten yourself into or what you've clicked on. So if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I'm glad to have you here because I do have a couple new subscribers, which tickles the crap out of me. Hi, everybody. I'm not sure where everybody came from, but I'm so happy to have you guys here. And that's not what today's video is about, but I do just want to take a minute and tell you guys, even when I was in active addiction, all that I've ever wanted to do is help people that were suffering. It's something that just sets my soul on fire. I'm really passionate about it. And when I got into my own recovery and kind of got my feet underneath me, shall we say, it just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, that want, to help people. And it's one of the reasons why when I was offered the opportunity to take my peer class and get that training, I said yes, absolutely, right away. Any training that I've had the opportunity to take since then, I take it. And anytime someone asks me to do anything, come to a meeting and speak or tell my story, anything like that, I do it. Because I remember very vividly, and honestly, I hope that I will always remember very vividly what it's like to be in active addiction. And I know how lonely it felt and how sad I was all the time, no matter what, no matter how high I was, no matter how many people I had around me. And I hate to see people going through that. And I'm not saying that everybody that's going through addiction or, struggling with their mental health is lonely, but a lot of times that is the case. And I just like to help people. So I'll be completely honest with you. When I woke up this morning and saw that I had got over 20 subscribers, y'all, I cried. I was so happy. And I know to a lot of people out there, they're like, that's stupid, or that's not a lot of subscribers. And, to a lot of people, that's fine, because no, that's not a lot of subscribers to a lot of people. But to me, that is, because, when I first started doing this, I wanted to do a podcast because I could hide my face, if I'm going to be completely honest. And I kind of joked around with my counselor about making a YouTube channel and got really positive feedback from Katie, and talked to my dad and my mom about it. You guys know that I talked to them about everything, and talked to Keith about it, and I got a lot more positive feedback about it than what I thought. But I wanted to do a podcast, and I never really gave a lot of thought to doing a YouTube channel. So when I got more than one subscriber, actually, no, I won't say that, because I knew I was going to have my mom, my dad, Keith, and Danielle. I knew I was going to have 4 subscribers. Once I got more than those 4 people, I was blown away, and I'm just so thankful for it. And I don't care if I don't ever get another subscriber than what I have today. I'm so grateful for every single one of you. And that does include my family. Like, that includes Danielle watching. She's my daughter. And Kate, for those of you that are new here and don't know, Keith is my boyfriend. Katie is my counselor. So I guess that would be 5. Sorry, Katie. But this has already become bigger than what I thought it would. And I'm at, 22 subscribers, I think it is. It might not even be 22. Anyway, the numbers don't matter to me, is what I'm getting at. If my YouTube channel and anything else that I'm doing, social media wise, to try to get my word out there and to reach more people, explodes and is a big, massive thing, then I'm okay with that. If it stays small and is a little tiny thing, I'm okay with that too, as long as it helps somebody. I was on the phone with somebody over the weekend, and the girl that I was talking to asked me what my vision was for this channel. And I was like, I felt bad because I thought that I didn't have a vision. And, she made me realize that I do, because that is my vision. I just want to help people. And I can see a timer down in the bottom of my screen if you guys want to know how lengthy my videos get, because I know as like a standard on YouTube, I'm friggin' long-winded, I'm Southern, like we joke around about it. I get long-winded. It's hard to say goodbye to me because it's going to be like a 20-30 minute thing, blah, blah, blah. So I know this is a long intro. I know that my videos go longer than what is like the YouTube standard, especially for people that are just starting out, for my content, whatever. Want to make sure that like I cover the topic that I'm making the video about. And I have a lot to say. So sorry. But back to the vision thing, like when she asked me, what is my vision? I kind of panicked because this is the first like big project that I have taken on in my life that I don't have a set vision for, because normally I'm a very organized person. I like to write things down. I like to know when certain things happen or are gonna happen and how they're gonna happen and the steps I have to take to get there, blah, blah, blah. You get the picture. And my YouTube channel, I'm really just winging it. I've honestly just started recording YouTube videos on my phone. And then I was gifted some very nice equipment by people in my life that I'm very blessed to have and that love me very much. So I have a very nice computer. I have a very nice microphone, to do my editing on, to capture my sound. I don't know how to work them to their full capabilities, but I do have them. I'm very blessed to have been given them and not had to like shell out the money for them at this point in my career, if you want to call it that. But this is a very new thing for me. So I really just started diving in and started filming on my phone before I got my microphone, and didn't expect to get the views that I've gotten or anything that I have gotten. So in a long kind of winded way, I wanted to say that, number one, thank you for all my new subscribers, especially if you're watching this newest video. I'm so happy that you're here. If you have any content or any videos that you are wanting from me or something that you want to ask me, please don't hesitate to reach out. Leave me a comment on any of my videos that you watch. Send me a message. All my social media should be linked in my description boxes below. Send me an email. My email is always listed in my description box. And then, as far as my vision for this channel, that's what it is. I just want to help people. I just want to help lower the stigma of addiction and mental health and recovery, because it's massive, y'all. And it's one of my pet peeves, the stigma, not the addiction and the recovery and everything, the stigma of it all. Because, if you would see me walking down the street, you wouldn't assume that I was an addict. And this is what I look like in active addiction, except I was skinnier. My hair was shorter. and I had different glasses. So, you know, you can't always just judge a book by its cover, to use an old phrase. But that's what I want from this channel. I just want to be able to help people. You know, I know that when I was in active addiction, and many times YouTube was a great source of comfort for me. I used to watch a lot of people for various things, but once I started getting to the point in my active addiction where I wanted to seek help, I did start seeking out people on YouTube to see if I could do it on my own, because YouTube is essentially a search engine, and a lot of people use it that way. And I just want to be there for someone if I can. You know, I know what it's like to go through horrible withdrawals. I know what it's like to be in active addiction and have people telling you that they want you to quit and you not want to. You know, I know what it's like to be in recovery and you be willing to stick to your recovery and not have a recovery pathway that is clear to you. So that's what I want to do with this channel. And that's not what today's video is about. So a very long 12-minute introduction today, but it was on my heart and I just wanted to say it to you guys. So for all you newcomers, I'm so glad that you're here. And if you missed it through all of that, my name is Jessica and I'm happy that you're here. Hit me a like button. Let me know if you like this, or if you don't like it, hit the dislike button and leave me a comment and let me know what you don't like about it, because that's the only way I'm ever going to get any better at this, is if people leave me feedback and let me know what you like and what you don't like and what you want to see, or if you have any questions or, you know, anything like that. So what I did want to talk to you guys about today was addict behavior. And it's something that if you are in this community, like the recovery community, or if you are someone you know is in active addiction, you've probably heard this phrase a lot. And addict behavior can be a lot of different things, excuse me. And what I mean by addict behavior today, when I'm talking about it, is more about addict behavior towards the recovery part of it, because there's a big difference in your addict behavior when you are actively using and addict behavior when you're in recovery. And I talk about this a lot, but people that are following a 12-step program use the word clean. You guys know how I feel about the word clean, but if you are working a 12-step program, or if you have any experience with the 12-step program, you will know, you've probably heard people say that there's a big difference in being clean and being sober, or working recovery, or being in recovery. And that's where addict behavior comes from. And what that means is you can be clean, and I tried like all weekend. I've been thinking about doing this video. I've been thinking about doing this video for a while, but I've been trying to like think of a way to do this video and not use that word, because we all know that I hate that word. But I just couldn't think of another way. So y'all just bear with me. I'm just going to have to use that friggin' word today. Just know that this is my disclaimer that yes, I hate using the word clean when it comes to recovery. This is not me saying in any way, shape, or form that I think myself or anybody that is that is a drug user, past, present, future, is dirty in any way, shape, or form. So please don't take it as such. But there is a difference in no longer using drugs and working a program of recovery. Let me say it that way. And that's where addict behavior comes in, because when we are in active addiction, there are certain behaviors that we do that we wouldn't normally do if we were not in active addiction. And what I mean by certain behaviors are things like, And this can vary depending on the situation that you're in, the type of drugs that you're using, anything, anything outside circumstances can change your behavior. And that goes for everything in the world, not just drug use. But, addict behavior can be like being able to control your impulses, lying, stealing, being able to control your emotions, like getting really angry, crying, anything like that. Not taking responsibility for your actions, past, present, things like that. And for right now, I'm just talking about things like when you're in your active addiction. Manipulation, selfishness, anger, mood swings, having money problems, that's addict behavior. So when you start working your recovery program, Keith and I have had lots of conversations about this, because when I first started saying this around Keith, he was like, what do you mean addict behavior? And I kind of had to explain it to him, and he's not the only one. I've had to explain it to other people that don't have any experience with addiction. What it means to me, in my experience, in my opinion, is addict behavior is when you are no longer in active addiction. You're no longer using the drugs or substances that were causing you problems in your life, that were being detrimental to your life. But you are still practicing those behaviors. Like I said, impulse control. You're not using anymore. You have been away from your DOC for, we'll say, 3 years. But when you go to a store, you still have a problem not stealing a Snickers bar. That's impulse control. That's addict behavior. And I know that there's always going to be people, because there are always those people that have something to say about everything. And they're going to be like, well, no, that's a thief. Well, yeah, that is a thief in some ways. But there's also people that I know, lots of people that I know, that before they came to that point in their lives where they started using drugs or any mind-altering substances or alcohol, or had any problems with it, whatever their addiction was in their life, that they never once stole. So it's almost like a learned behavior. See where I'm going? So impulse control, and it's classified as like behaving impulsively, spending or buying unnecessary items. And I remember back when I used to go to NA meetings, and I didn't understand addict behavior. I was having my disease manifest itself in other ways of my life, and I didn't realize that it was addict behavior until I had a lady in a meeting one night explain it to me. And she was like, oh, I went to TJ Maxx today, because I was feeling some type of way. And I'm walking around the store, and I was in the store for like 30 minutes. And before I realized it, I've got like $500 worth of stuff in my cart, and half of it is throw pillows. And that's my impulse control. That is my disease manifesting itself in other ways in my life. She told me that she had to learn how to practice that impulse control, keep her disease from manifesting in that area of her life or in that way of her life, because it was just another way for her addict behavior to come out. Does that make sense? The way that I'm saying it to you guys? Because our addiction will just find other ways to come out in our lives. So even though you may not be using anymore, or you may not be gambling or overeating, or, if you have a problem with sex, if sex is your addiction, whatever your addiction may be, even though you are like mindfully practicing ways to not do that anymore, your disease of addiction may be manifesting itself in other ways in your life that are not healthy for you. And that's what I mean by addict behavior. And we have to be really careful about things like that. And I know that when I first got into my recovery and got really serious about it, those were things that I had no idea. I'd never heard about addict behavior before. When I first got into recovery, I thought it was all about laying the dope down. And if I could lay the dope down, that I would be fine and free and clear. And, that is not the case. That is not the case at all because, laying the dope down is a big thing that you have to do. But it's not just that because, you have to stop. And that is very oftentimes the first step, but it doesn't end there. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand about addiction because you hear a lot of people saying, oh, why can't you just stop? And, we could do a whole nother video. And as a peer, if I am, trying to help people deal with their loved ones that are in addiction, and they will ask me that, well, Jessica, why can't they just stop? Well, I ask them a lot of times when they say that to me, that's a repetitive conversation that we've had because a lot of people just don't understand the science of addiction. They don't understand how it works in your brain and how much it affects the way that your brain works and, the science of it all. So like I said, a lot of times that's a repeat conversation that I have to have with friends or loved ones of people that are in active addiction. And so I have started asking them, I will say, well, what do you think would come after that? Because a lot of times people don't realize, well, if we could just get your loved one to stop, do you think that they would just go back to being the person that they used to be before their addiction started? Because that's not the case. That's not what's going to happen. And even if your loved one or you yourself go back to some semblance of the person that you were before your addiction took over your life, you still have to make sure that your addiction doesn't manifest itself in other ways. Addict behavior. So like the lying and the cheating and the stealing, the impulse control, the being able to manage your feelings, the taking responsibility. And I say the taking responsibility because, I know that there are people in this world that just flat out refuse to take responsibility for their actions. And not all those people have had a problem with addiction. Not all those people have suffer with mental health issues. I'm fully aware of that. I'm fully aware that there are people out there that just lie, cheat, and steal because they can. And they don't have a background in mental health. They don't have a background with addiction or anything like that. I know that. I'm talking about those of us that suffer from these issues because it takes a lot of work to fight your addiction. And it's not just about laying the dope down. It's nowhere near just about laying the dope down. That is a massive, massive step. But if you are trying to help someone that is in addiction and they get to that step where they stop using or stop doing whatever that addictive behavior is that is having such negative consequences on their life, you can't just step away from them after that because it's a continuous, lifelong process that they have to continue doing to keep their recovery an ongoing process and to keep themselves healthy. And a lot of it is work that we have to do on our own. Not saying that we can't have help from others. I get a lot of help from people in my life, from my counselors, from my loved ones. I get a lot of help from people in my life. And I used to have a lot of trouble with people in my life not wanting to hold me accountable. And you just have to tell the people in your life, don't be afraid to hold me accountable. Like, if I get mad about it, then so what? Like, I'm going to get mad about it, but that's just where grown-up conversations come into play. And that's honestly a gift of recovery, because a lot of times when someone is fighting an active addiction, you're unable to have a grown-up conversation with us because we're just not in that mindset. We are so concentrated on surviving and locked into that fight or flight mode, because that's what addiction is, where you're just concentrating on surviving. And we are locked into constant fight or flight mode 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that we cannot slow it down or stop it long enough to have a meaningful conversation with most people. Now that we are in recovery, those are conversations that need to be had. And yeah, a lot of times you will have to sit down and talk with your loved one, or, or even you as being the person in recovery, you may have to sit down and talk to your loved ones and being like, look, I know I'm doing some fucked up shit and y'all are not calling me out on it. And that's when you have to be the bigger person and you have to be the one to step up and say that. And that takes growth. Like, that shit is hard to do, but you got to do it. Because that's the point of recovery, is doing better today than you did yesterday. And, don't do drugs, obviously. I might cut that part out. I don't know. Because sometimes I get in trouble for my sense of humor. But yeah, addict behavior is hard to talk about, because sometimes when I bring it up, people are like, oh, that's been scientifically proven that it's not a thing. And, like I always say, the more you know, you can Google it. And I'm not talking about addict mentality, because there's articles that you can go and read about whether people are born with a predisposition to addiction. We could sit down and have a conversation about that. And to me, that falls under the same conversation of whether addiction is a disease or a choice or not. That's something that people are always going to argue about. You can argue about it, but what's the point? It doesn't matter to me why you became addicted. It doesn't matter to me if your whole family was addicted and that's why you feel like you became addicted, or if because your doctor gave you a script and then they cut you off because they thought that their ass was going to get in trouble, so you had to turn to heroin. And I'm not invalidating your story. I'm saying that everybody's story matters the same to me. Everybody's story matters the same to me, because we are all fighting the same. And if we don't all start working together and understanding each other's battles and our struggles and trying to be more open and accepting with each other and all of our differences, then we're all just going to continue to die, because this is not a forgiving disease. And even if you don't view it as a disease, it's not a forgiving choice, if you want to say it that way. Either way, addiction will not stop until it takes everything from you. Addiction will not stop until you are in the ground and your family is standing there at your funeral wishing that things were different. So that's what I mean when I say, to me, it does not matter. Because I would rather it doesn't matter to me how you got here. It matters to me that you're here. It matters to me that you're here. It matters to me that you made it this far. Because I see it all the time. Unfortunately, I've lost so many people to this disease, and I see it constantly. I'm constantly seeing people on social media posting about, people in their recovery community passing away. And it happens in an instant. To me, it should not matter how you got here. We should all just be accepting of the fact that you got here. But anyway, you guys let me know what you think about that, about addict behavior, and what you think about changing it. Anyway, I kind of got off topic there, you guys. I feel like today's video has been kind of rambly and all over the place, but I just wanted to talk about addict behavior because I feel like it's something that I don't hear a lot about. And I feel like more people need to be talking about it, especially in the recovery community, because there is a big difference between just laying the dope down and not doing that anymore and actually working a recovery program, whatever your recovery program is. And I'm not saying it needs to be a certain recovery program or it needs to be, whatever. You guys know I support any recovery program that you work. I don't care if it's a 12-step recovery program or if it's a maintenance program. I don't care if you want to partake in the devil's lettuce. Pretty sure I can still say that on YouTube because I'm just a little baby YouTuber right now. So pretty sure I can still say that. I don't, that's fine to me. And I can say that because I was in active addiction and I know the difference between the way that we used to live and the way that we are living now. So for the people out there that say that working a maintenance program or, smoking a little bit is not being clean or sober, I don't agree with that. But you guys know I support any kind of recovery program. All of them. And there are so many of them out there. So I support any of them. But I don't hear a lot of people talking about addict behavior and how your disease will manifest itself in any possible way that it can. And, when we were in active addiction, we only think of our disease manifesting in our life in that way, like us using whatever way we used, whatever dope we used. And that's the way that we think of our disease manifesting itself, but that's not the only way it did. It was also our behavior and how we did things and the way we treated people. So we need to remember that in our recovery because we don't want to be crappy people in our recovery. And we need to make sure that in our recovery, we're not letting little pieces of our addict behavior sneak out and worm their way through. And if they are, then we need to take responsibility for them and be good people because that's the point of all of this, is to be better people than we were yesterday, to do better than we were yesterday, and to be good to each other, to take care of each other. Because, if nothing else, this last couple years in the world have shown us that things are not getting any better. And we really need to start taking care of each other and watching out for each other and being nicer to each other. So for today, that's all I have. I'm working on a lot of stuff, you guys. I have a lot of ideas coming. So I may be changing a little bit of my upload schedule, but I haven't made a final decision on that yet. So I'm going to try to make a final decision this week about that. So I will let you guys know. I'm pretty positive I'm going to keep my Wednesday and Friday uploads, but I'm thinking about adding a day and just like a very short upload on one of those days. But I will let you guys know. So if you made it this far, thank you so much. Again, I just want to say thank you to all of my new subscribers. I'm so freaking happy they are here. Sincerely. You don't know what it means to me to have each and every one of you here. It makes my heart so friggin' happy. You guys leave me comments. Let me know what you think about this video. Like it if you liked it. Like I said earlier, if you don't like it, that's fine. Let me know. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And let me know what you think about this video. If you have any suggestions or things that you want me to talk about in future videos or any questions, leave me a comment down below. If you guys need anything from me, if you need to be trained on how to administer Narcan, if you need Narcan, please send me an email. My email is always listed down below in the description box, as well as all my social media. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. It still sounds funny to me to say. I am on Facebook. My Facebook page is mainly just for my friends and family, like close friends and family. all the other social stuff is all listed in my description box, along with some 800 numbers you can call if you need help. But if there's ever anything I can do for any of you, please don't hesitate to reach out on all my social media platforms. All of my messaging, DMs, whatever you want to call them, they're always open. I never turn them off. So stay safe, you guys. Take care of each other. Be nice to each other. If you see somebody that needs help, please help them. Please be nice to each other. Stay safe. Stay alive. If you're still using, please be careful. Test your supplies, okay? If you need help getting into recovery, if you need help with anything, please just reach out, okay? If I can't get you help in my local area, then I will go until I cannot go anymore to get you help in your local area. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Y'all have a great day, and I'll see you on Friday.